Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, Bootcock Brothers, Premium Scars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Uh-oh. What's on your neck? Below. Okay. Drew's up. Good morning, everybody. Tigers win. Beat Louisiana Tech 23-7. Certainly not the process that we wanted. Certainly would have much rather have seen that game be a little more offensive, a little more sharp. Got the starters out of there. Didn't happen that way. And obviously, we all wanted to see LSU get out of there without injuries, and that didn't happen either. So, go this way.
Whoa. What is
It's a blower. And then obviously the gigantic story coming out was the injuries to Braylon Moore and Trades Green. So we do have an update at louisianasports.net. Both are going to be getting MRIs today. And I'll post here. Both will be getting MRIs today. Braylon Moore, it looks like he's got a high ankle sprain, which means he will miss time. Very likely he's going to miss Florida, and then Southeastern is the following week. So the target, it seems like, would be Ole Miss. And then for Trades, they do not, as of now, fear that it's season ending and do not fear it's season ending, but he will likely miss time also. So not the worst case scenario, but also not the best case scenario, somewhere in between for both those guys. I did see the opening line was posted for LSU in Florida. And LSU, I'll check it at DraftKings. LSU, a 9.5 point. Let me see, make sure this hasn't moved. It's 9.5. So LSU, a 9.5 point favorite against Florida. So no Braylon Moore, no Trades Green, Tiger Stadium at night. Should be a great atmosphere. Should be fine. But again, it's a blower. Again, I think that's probably what everybody's going to be wanting to know first is updates there. That we'll find out more details today. And if they're not, if we can't, get you a report today at louisianasports.net, then the Brian Kelly will certainly answer questions Monday at his press conference, and see if we get those updates then. So good this week. We did the post game last night. I did my Locked On last night. So for those who haven't caught it yet, you can check that out. My big takeaways, just a very sluggish offensive day, and I think it was more execution, man. Fourth play of the game should have been a touchdown. Nuss underthrew Barry and Brown on the second drive. You get all the way down to their 31. You're moving again. Illegal formation, and then Xavier Thomas had the drop over the middle, which would have put you inside the 20. You missed the 51-yard field goal in that drive. The drive before the end of the first half, you're out at the 43-yard line. You're in your 4-minute offense. You get a first down at the 43. Harlan Berry false starts. Just leans forward. So now it's 1st and 15. You get a 7-yard reception, which makes them the penalty yards and then some. And then you get sacked. It was just a very, very sloppy day. It looks like you're off the field on the first drive of the second half, and then Jacoby and Guillory gets popped for a hands to the face. How about Xavier Thomas getting super lucky with the muffed punt off his foot? Because they had an illegal formation, they repunted, but they should have had the ball deep in your territory. You started that drive at the Tech 48-yard line, first down, false start by DJ Chester, put you behind the sticks, you go 3 and out. I mean, just wasn't great, man. Anyway. Okay. Drew's coming. He wants me to play side. Hold on. Yep, give it to Dad. Okay. Little baby bum, Johnny, yes, Papa. There you go. Take your playmat. I need you to take it to your playmat, please.
Oh.
Take your playmat, please. Okay. So look, I'm going to take dramatically more from LSU going on the road and beating Clemson than I am a sluggish win over Louisiana Tech. But a lot of the questions we have, I think, are valid. And they're going to have to figure out a way to get going offensively, especially the line of scrimmage without Braylon Moore, because it looks like he's not going to be available this week. And I have a feeling Florida is going to come in a little ticked off. So, Florida lost to South Florida last week, and you could say, or last night, and you could say, oh, LSU will roll. Maybe they will. But I also anticipate you lose a game like that, you get pretty focused, rooted in your embarrassment. Like 2017, LSU lost to Troy. Next week, they went to Gainesville and won 17-16. Those things tend to happen, Remember 1997, LSU beat Vanderbilt 7-6. The next week, they had number 1 Florida coming in, upset number 1 Florida. I mean, sometimes those games get you focused. So LSU's got to be on it this week. All right, Saints game day, y'all. Saints play the Cardinals. Kyler Murray was added to the injury report with an illness. He's going to play. It's not going to limit you at all, but limit him at all. But Saints and Cardinals today. Saints are a 6.5-point home underdog. We will have Jimmy's picks and all the handicappers at LouisianaSports.net. Should be around 11:30, 11:40 as they start rolling through. So, all right. We'll say some good mornings here. Y'all please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Hey, Survivor's Remorse, good morning. Christian, good morning. Catch drills all week. See, someone mentioned that as well in post game. I don't know that I thought the receivers didn't catch the ball. I thought Xavier had a great catch on the sideline going low. The Xavier drop over the middle. I mean, there were some that were tough catches, like Tradez in the end zone, where he couldn't come down with it. I mean, he had a defender draped all over him. Would have been a really tough catch. I don't know. I didn't think the receivers. I mean, maybe I'd go back and watch it, but I didn't chart a bunch of drops. Hey, Thomas. Good morning. Brian, good morning from Omaha. All right, man. Hey, Austin, good morning. Sluggish offense and injuries. That's why we hate these cupcake games where there's nothing to win, plan, to lose. That's kind of the point. Yes, and the defense looks elite. I mean, you have so much to lose and nothing to gain. Look at Florida. Florida literally lost the game. LSU had two players injured, and you have Whit Weeks and your starters out there with 3 minutes to go in that game against Louisiana Tech. Like, hey, Cody, never been so ticked off about a win. Then you haven't been around for a while. It was the whole Miles era. Was every Saturday morning or every Sunday morning. Hey, Juan, morning. About to board my flight to LA to see Oasis. All right, the Rose Bowl. Oasis, the Rose Bowl. Juan, didn't you just go see Oasis in Chicago? Man, getting around, man. Good for you. Tiger, morning. Any updates on the injury front? Yep, started the show with that. Again, for those maybe just joined and missed it, we got the report over at louisianasports.net. Braylon Moore looks like it's a high ankle sprain. Trade as not season ending, which is the good news, but it looks like both are going to miss time. I would not anticipate either playing this week against Florida. And that being the case, probably not against I think especially with like the convo I had about Braylon was, then after Florida, you play Southeastern. So naturally give him this full week, the week before Southeastern, and then the week leading up to Ole Miss. And you hope that he's in a better spot to be able to go. Hey, Jalen, morning on a letdown Sunday. Brian, you concerned about the offense. Was it a hiccup? I think Hunt's got a great column up at louisianasports.net. And I think all those it's a good point to say that all the questions are fair. Like, should we be concerned that Caden Durham had that Caden Durham had 13 rushes for 29 yards along a 5? That's atrocious. Yeah. How much of that was because you were without Braylon Moore? I mean, I think a big part of it, but I don't know. Clemson struggled for a half against Troy. I think that was them having a natural letdown spot, just like LSU did, just like a lot of teams do in those spots. But is Clemson maybe not great? Maybe. Again, these are things that'll reveal themselves over time. I mean, my feeling is, like, I've seen this LSU offense. Like, I know Barry and Brown's a good player. Chris Hilton's a good player. Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Garrett Nussmeier, Caden Durham, Bauer Sharp. Like, I know these are all good players. Like, I know this offense can go. I've seen it. That was just not a sharp outing, which happens. I mean, I've seen plenty of games in Tiger Stadium where LSU plays overmatched opponents, and it's a game for a half or for 3 quarters. So that's why I hate those games, man. It is human nature. You're just not going to be up for every game. And that was a sluggish, lethargic, uninspired performance. And even more disappointing, you had a couple injuries, significant injuries, or injuries to significant players. Austin, Matt, I was not too impressed watching Underwood. He's not a great runner, has awkward dart-like delivery that affects timing on short patterns. Good riddance. I'd like to remind you that was Bryce Underwood's second game ever. And he had to go to a madhouse in Norman, Oklahoma. And his team was actually in the game. Like, I picked Oklahoma to win and to cover, made money on that game for the same reason that I picked Ohio State against Texas with Arch going there, and pretty much any other young quarterback making their first road start. Hard to do. But he is an impressive talent. And I think he is going to be really good. Borderline unwatchable. It was boring. Sean, Green and Morgan, not reading too much into a game versus La Tech. I agree on that part. Brad, good morning. Everyone on the message boards are blaming Sloan for play calling. I'm stunned by that. Just stunned. Like, and to me, it's such a lazy fan echo chamber thing. I talk about it all the time with play calling. Sloan sucks. That's what people always default to. I mean, give me a play call that you didn't like and why, and what would you have done? The other thing also is you don't know what the play call was. You don't know if Nuss checked out of something or checked into something or whatever the case may be. I mean, I just gave an example on the fourth play of the game. They had a touchdown dialed up. Barry Brown's streaking open down the left sideline. Nuss underthrows him. Nuss could hit that ball in his sleep 100 times out of 100. In the game, he underthrows it. Gets deflected and intercepted. Is that play call? If Nuss leads Barry and Brown and LSU scores a touchdown on the fourth play, how different does the whole vibe of that game change? We talk about the red zone. I mean, they were 5 for 5 in the red zone, but only scored 2 touchdowns. That's not good enough. Well, you'd say, well, they got too cute. Well, in one of them, they just ran Durham 3 times and scored. And then they run the next red zone possession, and look why they're running the line. What do you want? I mean, it's the lowest common denominator, ridiculous fan echo chamber nonsense to just go the play caller. Like, it's just the easiest thing to blame without any validation of that whatsoever. Hey, Brambo, good morning. Ryan would like Nuss under center better fit this show. Yeah, this is not going to happen. Lance, good morning. Happy with the win. It was a tough watch. It was. O-line was pushed around after looking okay against Clemson. Yeah, we're going to get into the I'm excited to get into the PFF today. Again, like for most everything, when it comes to PFF, the unit that I think we learn the most about is the offensive line, because you don't have stats and most people aren't watching the line. I'm looking at the grades right now. Josh Thompson graded out awesome last night in pass block. Chester was great in pass block. Mabenga was great in pass block. Run blocking. Chester played well. Kern only played 1 snap. I'm surprised he hasn't played more. Yeah. Anyway. Josh Thompson with a pass block grade of 88.8. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to dig deeper into it to see where the pressure came from. I mean, Nuss was sacked 3 times, and he was hurried another 5 times. So just not let's see, he was hurried officially 6 times. They only charged the offensive line with giving up 1 sack. Tyree Adams, 1 quarterback hit, 6 quarterback hurries, 3 from Weston Davis, 1 from Cohen Eccles, 1 from Tyree, and 1 from Mabenga, the hurries. Anyway, I'll dig deeper into it. I'll have my PFF Locked On episode for the morning. So if you're not subscribed to Locked On LSU, please do. Obviously, I go deep into the PFF grades, and I give you an episode just what stands out of the PFF grades. I do that for my Monday Locked On episode. La Tech played us better than Clemson. Thomas is pretty even, actually. Like, I mean, just if you look at the yardstick, LSU put up 365 yards against Tech, and wasn't it 358 or something like that against Clemson? It was a comparable number. The thing we should mention is the defense was awesome. Defense allowed 154 total yards, 96 passing, 58 rushing, and of course, 33 of those 96 came on the busted play at the end of the game. So, defense was awesome again. Bubba, I talked way too much trash to Florida fans for us to lose them next week. Ha 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 ha. Honestly, man, I think having a humbling game like this, bless you, buddy, is probably might be a good thing. It gives the coaches an opportunity to tell them, hey, you're not invincible. Refocus. So, Turkey Bob, Louisiana. Oh, sorry. Thomas, Jingle 8-7. It was a week ago. I screwed it up, Thomas. Let's see. Offense needs to solidify their top 4 receivers. The rotation is out of whack. Timing with receivers isn't gelling. Nuss is going back to old ways. Missed check down or scrambled to go downfield. So I don't mind rotating receivers and keeping guys fresh. And there's going to be different there's just going to be different guys with different skill sets are going to primarily be in there. But like, for example, here's your snap counts for the receivers. Okay. So Barian Brown had 30. Xavier Thomas had 28. Nick Anderson, 18. Aaron Anderson, 28. Hilton played 20. Parker, 14. And Jelani Watkins had 1 snap. So you're talking Brown, Thomas, Nick Anderson, Aaron Anderson, Hilton, Parker. I mean, you played 6 receivers. You'd rather not give Hilton and Parker any snaps and just go Brown, Xavier, Nick Anderson, Aaron Anderson. I mean, I think you could certainly make hay with those 4. But I also think there's going to be times where you put Drew last time. Okay. Okay. Crack my neck. But there's going to be times where you want to utilize having Barian Brown and Chris Hilton on the field at the same time because both can fly. You send them both on go routes. Well, guess what? I mean, you're not going to double them. Safety's got to go to one side. One's going to have man coverage, like Barian Brown on the first play of the game last night. And if you hit him, it's touchdown. Like, I don't know why you would just say we're not going to utilize that. I mean, I think using 6 has actually cut down on the rotation because they could play 9. I mean, you could put Jelani Watkins out there. You could put Teron Francis out there. And you see Xavier used so much in the run game. And Aaron Anderson, too. Both of them yesterday were used so much really in the run game. I mean, as much as even as the stat sheet was, they threw 41 and ran 34. But realistically, there were 2 or 3 of the jet sweeps to Anderson where Nuss just shovels it, but that's a forward pass. When Nuss just out of the shotgun, they're coming in motion, he flips it to him. That counts as a reception, not a rushing attempt. But that's an extension of the running game, is what that is. So really, you were pretty much balanced run pass. Brandon, morning, y'all. Everyone needs to be cool. We're going to be okay. Poor Sunbelt Billy. One of my big takeaways at media days and everything this summer was I was bullish on Nussmeier because my point was we've seen him do it. People were hyping Lagway and Sellers and Mateer and Arch, and I'm like, we haven't seen any of those guys do it. Now I thought Mateer looked good last night. And he may be the one that among all that conversation actually does emerge as somebody who's very capable at this level and is a really good player. I mean, I think I didn't watch a lick of their first game against Illinois State or whoever it was. But I was watching LSU and I had Oklahoma, Michigan on. I watched a good bit of that game and Mateer looks good. And that was a good defense they were playing. So, but Lagway, I mean, Lenora Sellers, y'all, last night against a MEAC school. Lenora Sellers was 11 of 19 for 128, a touchdown, and no interceptions against a MEAC school. I mean, and he ran 8 times for 23 yards with a long of 16. I mean, that's the first team all SEC quarterback. That's the guy that's going to push to be the number 1 overall pick. Come on. Like, again, he's a fantastic athlete and may in time end up being a great quarterback. He may. Like, he's got great physical ability. He may end up being a great quarterback. He is not yet. He's a young guy who's still learning how to play at this level and be good at this level. Same thing with Lagway. I mean, everyone talks about Lagway's physical ability, and that's undeniable. It's why he's a 5-star. But, I mean, Lagway was 23 of 33 for 222, a touchdown, and a pick against South Florida. They scored 16 points. I mean, his QBR so far through 2 games is 52. I spent all summer saying about Lagway. Him and Michael Van Buren had almost identical stats as freshmen last year. Everyone hypes Lagway. Nobody talks about Van Buren. One was a 5-star, one wasn't. But, the results are the results. Expect a highly motivated Florida team. I agree with that. Inside run game needs improvement. I agree with that. And by the way, Caleb Banks is probably going to be back next week for Florida, which is not going to help. We can't keep using jet sweeps. I wish Caleb would have developed his true power back. Yeah, look, man, for everybody who questioned Caleb Jackson, you're right. I was last year going into the season, I was very excited about Caleb Jackson, and I bought the hype based on him bulling over dudes and the dude at Mississippi State. He trucked Whit Weeks in fall camp last year. We were all very excited about him, and it just didn't materialize. And I think there was a play last night where he got the ball, and he just came to the line of scrimmage, stopped, and just jumped into the pot. It's just, he's a strong kid. He just doesn't have explosiveness, man. He's not an explosive runner, and that's the difference. With Caden Durham and Caleb, you can just see it with him. Caden Durham will get low and explode into a hole and drive his feet and move a pile forward. Caleb Jackson just kind of doesn't. It's why, look, I had someone, let's say someone close to the program, tell me before Clemson, said, watch, Juwan Johnson's going to end up being the second leading rusher on the team. And they think of Xavion Thomas more as a running back. I'm like, it's interesting. Well, you're starting to actually see that manifest a little bit. Now, Juwan Johnson, I don't know that Juwan Johnson, Juwan Johnson had a carry yesterday, but I think it got nullified because there was a penalty. So officially, he had 1 carry for 1 yard, Juwan Johnson did, and he did not catch pass. So not his day. Again, he was more involved a week ago, but not so much this week. All right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. So a shout out to Brock. Remember, Brock, the after-hours clinic, nights and weekends, and the free Friday night clinic for high school football players, coaches, band members, cheerleaders, anybody injured. You can go to Brock on Bluebonnet, see a doctor for free every Friday night from 9 to 11. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and our whole gang over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Commercial, residential, we do gutters, we do soft washing, we do everything. Parishbuilt.com. Unique Physique, remember that's a GLP-1, so semaglutide, tirzepatide, the weight loss shots you hear people talk about so much. You want to learn more, remember, lowest prices, never any contracts, do the whole thing over telemed. They can ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So even if you're watching outside of Baton Rouge, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions, go see Crystal Poche, book a session. You got pain, she'll get you out of it. Of course, Bocock Brothers, Premium Cigars, use the code MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. Stat Dub, Florida will be the gold game. It will be. Hey, Rex, good morning. Lance, maybe we should have spent more money on our O-line. The wide receiver struggled to get separation, which is concerning also. You went and got Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson. You went and got 2 starters on your offensive line. And the other thing is, they were going to get Fromby, the kid from Alabama, who ultimately Bama countered and made him an offer, and he ended up staying. But the right tackle at Bama, Wilton Fromby, or Formby, was a guy that he was a he was silently committed, and then Bama ultimately gave him more money, stayed. But sorry, I'm trying to get info on the injuries. So if I grab my phone, that's why. I know some of you don't like when I grab my phone. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm also doing a show for free where I sit here for an hour, and there's just times where my phone's going to buzz where I got to reply. All right. Spurge, morning. Number of drops on Welter and balls was disturbing. I got to go back and count that. The only drop that I charted was the Xavier Thomas drop on the second drive of the game over the middle on the 1st and 15 after the illegal formation. That's the only one I charted. Maybe y'all saw something I didn't, and several people have asked me. Maybe we just have different qualifications for what we consider a drop. If Ashton Stamps dropped an interception, but I mean, tell me what else you. I mean, I'm looking at my notes and I charted. The only drop I charted was Xavier Thomas. So if there's something I missed, obviously, please tell me, and I'll go back. I mean, I'll go back and go quickly through the game today and see if there's anything I missed. And maybe I'm not, dude. I'm not infallible. Like I miss things. I'm one guy watching the game. I'll look at PFF. Hang on. Drops. So PFF charted 4. They gave Barry Brown a drop, Aaron Anderson a drop, Xavier on the drop, and then Bauer Sharp a drop. What was the Bauer Sharp drop? I don't remember that one. Anyway, so PFF charted 4 drops. So that's closer. Spurge, you said 5. The one I charted was Xavier's. Off the top, I don't know the Barry and Brown, Aaron Anderson ones, and Bauer, but that's what PFF charted. So again, maybe I guess you get a different standard for a drop, whatever, that's fine. But if that's true, it's 4 or 5 more catches that should have been made. How much difference does that make the offense look? It goes back to execution. Keith, give me Florida the 9.5. Bro, you've seen Florida's pro. Okay, that is rooted in the fact that you're disappointed in LSU's offense, which I get. Flip side of it, look at LSU's defense and look at Florida's offense. Tell me what Florida is going to come in here and do offensively against that defense. Man. I mean, you never say never, and I don't want to disrespect an opponent, but I get why the line is what it is, because LSU's defense is legit. I mean, they've given up 17 points in 2 games, and really, the starters allowed 1 touchdown drive against Clemson, and then the late drive with some backups in against Tech. Jalen, JJ, morning. Rambo better wear traditional uniforms for Florida. They will. Thomas, never saw Zach Weeks. He didn't play. Let me check the participation report just to make sure I'm not completely wrong on that. No, Zach Weeks did not get in the ballgame. Cheetah. Rambo be hyped as you want to be Gators, not a good team. Patrick, good morning. Not at all pleased with last night's lackluster performance offensively. Hopefully we can overcome injuries against Florida, keep the train rolling. I mean, my big concern obviously is not having Braylon Moore. I love the matchup problems that Tradez creates. I mean, I love Tradez, but you have enough offensive weapons where you should be able to overcome that. The 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 benefit of DJ Chester is you have a guy that started 13 games at center a year ago and basically played every snap but one last night. So now it's been guys played a lot for you at that position, has been through some of the wars. So it's not like you're going to someone who's totally green at that spot. But I think Braylon Moore is your best offensive lineman. Need to let Kern get some run at left guard. Paul isn't it. Offense needs to stop running the same plays. Everybody knows you're running ones. That I agree to. I would love to see the breakdown of Xavion in the backfield. Because and I wish I had a chart of that. I'll see maybe if I could find that. But that does, and maybe it's we all know to expect it, but then if we know expect it, when the defense know to expect it. When Xavion motions into the backfield, it seems like he always gets the carry. So I'll see. Okay. I'll make that note and see if I can get that number for the times he motions in the backfield, how often he gets the carry. Because I do agree with that. And I agree with getting Kern more reps too. Bounce back. Yeah. So for those who missed it as we started, oh man, I'm 30 minutes behind on comments. I'm sorry. We did give you an update at Louisiana Sports.net this morning. It looks like Braylon Moore, high ankle sprain, trade as not season ending, which is the great news, but I don't expect either to play this week, and likely not. If they don't play this week against Florida, they likely wouldn't play next week against Southeastern. So you'd look to have them back potentially for the Ole Miss game in 2 weeks. The chart. Seems like they don't have a solution for Chris Hilton, which is mind-boggling. Well, the thing about the camp reports, Survivor's Remorse, you got to remember, like, I'll speak for myself, okay? Chris looked good in camp this year, no doubt. But Barry Brown was the guy we talked about throughout camp. We did a station survey at ESPN for who was going to be the leading receiver. And I picked Aaron Anderson. Said he was your leading receiver a year ago. Why wouldn't he be that again this year? I certainly expect Chris Hilton will make big plays in this offense. But if Hilton and Barry and Brown are both playing the same role in the offense, Brown is better than Hilton. I mean, Hilton's a very good player. I'm not in any way saying he's not. If Brown weren't on this team, I think all those targets would be going to Chris Hilton. But Brown's a better receiver. Hang on one second, y'all. I'm trying to see if we have oh man. I'm looking through photos from yesterday. I'm trying to see if we have photos of I'm trying to see if we have any of readers. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go a little quickly here, y'all, because I think I'm really behind. Good morning from Chattanooga. Love Whiskey Wine. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. All right, yeah. Went through the injuries. Ben Thomas. Yeah, we had over 2,000 watching live. It was crazy. Over 4,000, closer to 5,000 against Clemson, but stands to reason. I think next week will be really big too. So, let's see. Okay, downvote. Cool. Thanks for being there. Henry Hay. Yep. You're right, Henry. Defense was awesome. Is Brad Davis a systemic issue with the line issue? This is so mindful. Ryan, that's like the same people that crapped on Corey Raymond when he left. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, I feel like we spent this whole offseason talking about the offensive line and and they were great in pass pro last year, and they didn't run. And I thought Cole Kubelik did an incredible job of saying, how can you expect someone to run if you don't commit to running? And they were 60-40 pass to run. When you're not trying to run, then you can't just, in certain instances, decide you're going to try to run. So this year, they're clearly showing more of a commitment to running the football. And they've still been excellent in pass protection for the most part. And, last night was not great, but how much of that is, okay, you lost your starting center, who's like the cornerstone of your entire unit. Like, I'll just say again, like, be careful what you wish for. All right. Like, y'all the same people who wanted to run Corey Raymond out of here, and look at what happened to the secondary. And now look, since Corey Raymond's back, look at the caliber of athlete you have again. Some of y'all are crazy, bro. Like, again, that's the thing I talk about all the time. It's like this ridiculous fan echo chamber. Like, y'all make up your mind collectively about something. You all get in like chat rooms and message boards and Twitter, and y'all repeat the same crap to each other all the time. You'll just start to believe it, and then you only look for validation and affirmation of it. I can sit here and read for you Pro Football Focus grades where dudes are grading on 80, like off the charts against pass or whatever, and y'all, Brad Davis sucks, offensive line sucks. Anyway. Hey, Quentin, good morning. Devin, tough win, Dead Tiger Stadium. Won't overreact. Need to have a good week of practice. Yeah, man. I mean, it sucked. Like, that was a miserable game. That's why I hate seeing those games, man. Like, the team was flat. Stadium didn't care. Nobody cared. Just the only thing you want to do is win and get out healthy. And you won, but you didn't get out healthy. So it's even worse. But by the time they play Florida, everyone will be jacked. Everyone will be picking them to win and cover and blow the doors off of Florida, and they'll win. And then next week, everyone's going to be pumped again, talking about a national championship. And then they're going to play with their food against Southeastern and then go to Ole Miss, and we'll see how they do. Ole Miss, who looked like hot garbage yesterday looked like hot garbage against Kentucky. And Austin Simmons got hurt, who also looked like garbage yesterday against Kentucky. Like, against Kentucky's defense, I mean, that's what I keep going back to. If inexperienced quarterbacks like Austin Simmons are struggling against Kentucky's defense, what do you think is going to happen when Baker, with all the exotic stuff he does, with Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks and Monster Delane and all these guys, like, what do you think that's going to look like? Jeffrey, every team's going to have letdown. Win is a win. Mark, okay, great. They're not losing 3 games. Bobby Boucher's lawnmower. Hilton literally loafed around the field last night. It was a head scratcher watching. Nothing crisp past speed. Disinterested. Tiger Stadium was awful. It always is for these games. Offense reminds me of Matt Canada's. A lot of emotions, a little production. The pre-snap penalties are a problem. I completely agree with you with that. I completely agree with that. Wait, come here. Yep. Hold on. Wait. Come here. Yes. Be patient. I completely agree with you on the pre-snap penalties. That I have a real problem with. Like, you are Last night, you had false start on Harlan Berry, false start on DJ Chester, holding on Caleb Jackson. That's not a pre-snap. That was so you had three offensive penalties. Two of them were pre-snap penalties last night on the offense. And against Clemson, you had a false start on Tradez. You had a legal motion against Barry and Brown. And you had a false start on Chris Hilton. What was the penalty against Weston Davis against Clemson? Holding. Weston Davis had a holding. So he had 3 pre-snap. But again, the pre-snap penalties against Clemson were all from receivers. Run game seems like maybe an issue again this year. Rob, if we don't get focused, what to say about the offense needs to wake up. Matt, you tripping. LSU not losing 3 games. I didn't say they're losing 3 games. You must be talking about a different, like a comment. I never said they're losing 3 games. That was you must be talking about one of the comments, one of the guys who commented. Kelly Gross, good morning. I'm like half an hour behind on comments. Let me just go to the bottom and get let's see. Gulf South, LSU had 150 rushing once you count for the sack yards. What am I missing? Why are people flipping out about the run game? So rushing last night, LSU had 34 for 128. The sack adjusted rushing total, it was like 150. I'm finding it. Just give me 1 second. One second, y'all. I mean, but like Gulf South, objectively, Caden Durham running 13 times for 29 yards, that's a problem. Now, the sack adjusted rushing yards, LSU ran for 155. Sack adjusted. So that's sack and team total, like when you took a knee, right? So that was 5 attempts. So if you look at it, actually, it should have been 34, 3. So you would have been talking about 29 attempts for 155. Sack adjusted would be 29 for 155, which comes out to 5.3 yards a carry. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, you had the long run by Xavier Thomas for 48 and the long run by Harlan Barrett for 43, and that skews it. Okay, well, your formations and your willingness to commit to the run springs those. So as Hester is fond of saying, you can't take those away. Like that's part of your rushing total, and you're setting those things up throughout the game. And then this is a possibility as well. Game plan was vanilla on purpose. Maybe. I mean, I feel like they still did there was a lot of sweeps and motions and getting a lot of dudes involved. Like to see more 3-5 step dropbacks. And that's all they did. Like, but like if you're saying, like that's all they did against Clemson was get the ball out quickly in the short intermediate passing game, and it worked great. Hypocritical for us to say we don't like the tune-up games versus lesser opponents. We've said many times we like a week 0 versus a lesser opponent. The reason I want a week 0, Brambo, is because you don't get an opportunity to look at your team to know what you need to fix until you go play. So you play a week 0, you get an opportunity to look at your team to see what you need to fix before you go play a tough game. Because otherwise you go into it with certain assumptions. Like, for example, Brian Kelly's first game, Garrett Dellinger played center. That was a disaster. I'd rather find that out against Nichols in week 0 than week 1 against Florida State. That's why. Not at this point in the season. I'm talking about like week 0, specifically talking about before you play a marquee game. It doesn't have to be week 0. It could be a layup week 1 before you go play a tough game week 2. That's why. Not right at this point in the season, no. So just, I'm sure you're right. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. But, I'm sure you're right about DJ Chester being a terrible pass blocker. But your highest graded pass blocker against Louisiana Tech was Josh Thompson with an 88.8. Your second highest pass blocker against Louisiana Tech was DJ Chester with an 82.5. But I'm sure you're right. I'm sure the guys at Pro Football Focus don't know anything. And you know what you're looking at when you're watching the ball the whole game and not specifically one player on the offensive line to grade him out. You got it. Nailed it. Javen Levi. Point is, Michigan isn't paying him much to work in pro. I'm going bottom up, so there's some things I'm going to miss on content. Ole Miss, he was bad yesterday. Austin Sim was bad yesterday. Yeah, shout out to Daniel Beal. Cajuns got a win over McNeese. Beal filling in for the injured Walker Howard. Certainly hoping for a speedy recovery for Walker. Okay, I didn't even know that. So T-Bob's on Barstool's recap shows. People are like, can T-Bob join? No, like he can't. He's doing shows for Barstool. Let's see. There we go. There's good vibes right there. Tiger Poppy, go Saints, go Tigers. I'll take the only win. Ask any Florida fan. That's a great point. Beats the alternative. Steven, our running play scheme to running back is so freaking predictable. Has changed. No creativity. I don't know how in the world you can say there's no creativity. When you're running base concepts with Caden Durham, you're running plays in motion with Xavion Thomas, you're running shovel passes on sweeps to Thomas and Anderson. You've gotten Juwan Johnson involved as a receiver, a Wildcat quarterback, and as a running back. Like, I don't know how in the world you can say there's no creativity. That to me, Steven, is a fundamental absurdity, what you just said. Like, when you have 6 different dudes getting carries and you say there's no creativity, like, that's a complete contrast to what someone earlier was saying was that there's too much motions and creativity. Like, do you understand like how ridiculous that is when the two of you are saying the exact opposite things? Like, you're saying there's no creativity. Someone's saying there's too much motion and creativity. Simplify it. Like, I don't think anybody really knows what they're watching. Anyway. There is an all-22. Every school films it, so they can use for that they give for film study, right? I don't know that there's an all-22 available to the public. Did you see the stat? The Saints have the longest game 1 winning streak in the NFL at 6 years. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Let's go. Maybe we get a win today. Not banking on it. See, this one Is it too harsh? Does not have a low football IQ? Help me understand why he won't run when he has 10 or 15 yards in front of him. So the only play, like the singular play last night where, well, first of all, his job is to distribute the football. Okay. So if he has an opportunity to throw to an open receiver or run, throw to the open receiver, I'm fine with that. The play on the game last night that they highlighted was the play where he threw the touchdown pass to Nick Anderson. Drew, maybe listen to me. Last time, okay? Last time. Thank you. Was the play where he threw the touchdown to Nick Anderson. And there was space, but he was not going to score. There were two defenders standing at the goal line that if he had taken off, he would have gotten yardage. He would not have gotten in the end zone. So he made the right play, and they scored a touchdown. Again, I think it's a lot of, and then there's this, Nuss went back to his old ways. Sloan needs to rein him in. Pro Football Focus has a stat called turnover-worthy plays, okay? TWP. Where did you put the ball in harm's way that could have been a turnover? Last night in 83 offensive plays, okay? 83 offensive snaps for LSU. Nuss had 2 turnover-worthy plays. One of them was obviously the interception where that was an underthrown ball. That's not bad decision-making. Barry Brown was open. He did not execute the pass. He had an open receiver that probably should have been a touchdown. He underthrew it. It got batted and ultimately was intercepted. I don't know the other one off the top, and it doesn't list what that play was, but Nuss graded out last night at a 77.5. Like, I don't know what you all expect. Like, I am very disappointed that they had, like, this game, if LSU had 5 red zone possessions, 3 of those were inside the 10. You had a goal to go situation on 3 of your red zone possessions, and you scored on 1 of those. 2 other goal to go situations, you ended up kicking field goals. Like, you moved the ball. You made ridiculous mistakes that cost you scoring opportunities. Again, the interception on the first possession, that's a touchdown on a better thrown ball. On the second possession, you get all the way to their 31. Illegal formation, Xavier Thomas drop, boom, boom. Just like that, you're behind the sticks. You end up missing a 51-yard field goal. What do you want, baby? Little baby bum hot cross buns. No. Play Matt. No, Drew, play Matt. Hey, Drew, you can take that to your play mat, please. Drew, listen to me, baby. Thank you. Play mat. Thank you. Okay. Last thing I want is the stream to get banned because we got little baby bum hot cross buns playing. Anyway. If you're new, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Who, Thomas?
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right, ParishBuilt.com. So this is an interesting one. Now, the Hilton play wasn't double coverage. The Hilton play, the defensive back cut underneath Hilton, and Nuss was thrown in the back. That might be the other turnover-worthy play. But I would also say on that one, that might be a situation where he's trying to force Chris Hilton into action. And I do agree wholeheartedly that there might be situations where in an effort to get everyone involved, you do try to force the action sometimes. I think by and large, through 2 weeks, we've seen a commitment to getting the ball to whoever had a favorable matchup in that game. For example, last week, Bauer Sharp led the team in targets with 8. He had 5 catches on 8 targets. Aaron Anderson had 5 catches. Chris Hilton had just the 1. Nick Anderson didn't have a catch last week. Or did he have 1? In this game, Nick Anderson, right out the chute, boom, boom, had 3 catches and a touchdown the first 2 drives. But it was Barry Brown's day. Barry Brown had 9 catches, or 8 catches, and so did Aaron Anderson. So, like, I think they've done a good job of identifying who's the best matchup on that day against that team. What, baby? But I do wonder about that. Like, that throw to Hilton in the back of the end zone, not a high percentage throw, obviously. Are you just trying to get Chris Hilton involved right there? Like, that's I think of that I think is a very fair question to ask. What's the stat Mike D always says when the starting center is out the next game? They fail to cover 8. Team fails to cover 80%. The team without their starting center fails to cover 80% of the time. It's a great number. But I wonder, like, does this week we just saw count because you had Braylon Moore for one snap? I mean, you had your backup center playing the entire game, and you didn't cover. I wish I'd thought of that. That'd have been good. That'd have been a good in-game play after the first snap of the game. I know you don't think it's play calling. You need a guy who can maximize talent like Joe Brady. This is like, you're going to set me off, Christian, because that is one of the most, again, another fan echo chamber comments. Joe Brady was not the maestro in 2019. That was not a Joe Brady offense. Like, that drives me crazy hearing that. Steve Ensminger was the play caller in 2019, not Joe Brady. Joe Brady sat next to Steve Ensminger, and Brady on third downs could make a suggestion, and Ensminger could either use that third down call or call his own. Like, and I know people are going to say, well, Brady won the Broyles Award. He did, as the best assistant in the country. He won the Broyles Award because Steve Ensminger couldn't give a rip about credit. Steve Ensminger is one of the great outliers in coaching, in that there is no ego, and he would rather not be in the spotlight. Like, he doesn't want to do interviews. He doesn't want to be seen. He just wants to coach ball. So, man, Brady was a piece of what they did, but history is giving him way too much credit for what 2019 was. 2019 was Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Thad Moss, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 4 linemen that went on to play in the NFL. I mean, that was 2019, not Joe Brady. Like, that's ridiculous. And my point about, and by the way, I want to be clear about something with Sloan. I'm not saying Joe Sloan is infallible. I'm not saying he's been flawless. I'm not saying he's called great games. I'm not saying that. My very consistent point about play calling is fans, as a generality, always point to play callers and say the play calling sucked. That is a general fan sentiment. Blame the play caller. When the fan has no idea what the play call was, you have no idea what the blocking schemes were, what assignments were. You have no idea if the quarterback checked into or out of a play, could have been the right or wrong play. And sometimes there's execution that often goes ignored. Like last year against Florida, they drew up a beautiful play against Florida where CJ Daniels scored. By the way, if that touchdown stands, they probably beat Florida, but it got nullified for an offensive pass interference. No one talks about the great play call. It's largely ignored. Like, this is like the stupidest thing. So Sloan doesn't sequence plays good. Like, I don't know what you do for a living. I don't really care. Joe Sloan or any Power 4 offensive coordinator knows more about football in their fingernail than you will ever know in your entire life. Me too, by the way. Like, you have no idea what sequencing plays means, what they're setting up for down the road. Like, to get action off of a play to come back to it later. That is an absolute case in point. Give me an example from last night. Go right now. Give me 5 plays sequencing that sucked. Like, you can't do it because you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't have a millisecond of a millimeter of an idea of what you're talking about.
Daddy, I'm not real on Daddy's phone.
God, like, y'all drive me crazy sometimes, bro. Like, it's and it's so obvious. It's the thing I talk about all the time. Come on. My goodness. Please smash the like button. I deserve the 319 of you watching live, since I've been here for an hour and 6 minutes already. I deserve for all of you to smash the like button and to subscribe to the channel. I mean, y'all, like, I'm not telling you that was a great game. I'm not. I'm not telling you the play calling was great, the execution was great, the blocking was. I'm not telling you that. Like, they scored 23 points against Louisiana Tech. They had a lot of opportunities where they didn't capitalize. I think you have a game like that, and like, you need to evaluate a lot of things. Like, but it's the point I'm making is there is so much you and I do not know sitting in the stands, sitting at home, watching the game. And I guess from my perspective, like, covering teams for as long as I have, like, when you have the opportunity to talk to a coach off the record, look at a game plan, flip through a playbook, like, you recognize how much, like, how deep in the nuance of everything they are, to where you and I don't even have a clue. Like, they're not only speaking a different language, they're speaking like a language from galaxies away that you and I couldn't begin to comprehend. Like, again, it's not that they're flawless. Like, clearly not a great day. But I'll go back to what I've said. Like, what if Nuss hits Barry and Brown on the 4th play of the game and they score? How different is our conversation today? Like, what if on the second drive, Xavier Thomas catches the ball at the 15-yard line and they score and they go touchdown to start the game? We're having a completely different conversation. But that's not play. Then you're not talking to me about play calling and sequencing like you know what the hell you're talking about, because you don't. Anyway. In this one, I saw Coach O on a podcast. He said Joe Brady was the one that came up. Oh, stunning. Coach O said Joe Brady, the guy he hired, came up with the game plan to beat Alabama. It wasn't Jamar Chase mossing some cat on the opening drive. It wasn't Clyde Edwards-Helaire on a wheel route. Which, by the way, who's ever heard of a wheel route before? What? Huh? Coach O, jeez. No, I see here. This is interesting. So Ronald said if Clemson would have smashed Troy, fans wouldn't be as mad said if Clemson would have smashed Troy, fans wouldn't be as mad today. So, but here's the thing. Like, this is the interesting contradiction. So LSU fans, I think today are looking at that Clemson game going, that was a letdown spot for Clemson. They got really high against LSU last week. Disappointing loss. Now they come home, they got to play Troy, and they just sleptwalk for the first half and got through it in the second half. You could say the exact same thing about LSU, but you're crushing LSU today, wondering if they have big picture issues. Because it's hard to see the forest of the trees. Like when you're talking about Clemson, you could take the 10,000-foot view and say, that's Clemson had a letdown. After a big game last week, they're at home, lesser opponent, they sleptwalk through a half, all that sort of stuff. Same reality could be true for your team. You're just more concerned about your team, so you're not going to excuse it the way that you would for Clemson. But it's literally the same reality those two schools were in. They played a massive game a week ago. It was a natural letdown spot. In training camp, was the separation between Ramos and Burrell is clear between Nuss and Van Buren? So objectively, Burrell has a stronger leg. That's not even debatable. Tee a ball up, let him kick it as far. Burrell has a stronger leg. Ramos is certainly more accurate. It was a bummer he missed the 51-yarder. He was on target the first time, but it was short, and they called the timeout. He got another crack at it. He boomed it. I mean, it would have been good. Would have been good probably 55, 56, but he was just to the right. Burrell is just inaccurate. Great leg. If he develops timing, accuracy, consistency with his swing, I think he could be awesome. Have the injuries been updated? So we did update earlier today at LouisianaSports.net. I'll go post it again here in the chat for those that might have missed it. So Braylon Moore and Trey'Dez Green are both going to have MRIs today. What Hunt and I were told last night. Moore looks like it's a high ankle sprain. Do not expect him to play this week. And if he doesn't play this week, then he likely wouldn't play against Southeastern. The target would be Ole Miss. Trey'Dez, 11 MRI on the right knee. Not considered season ending. Not considered season ending, which is the great news. But they do expect he's going to have to miss time as well. So we'll wait to see what the MRI is today and get a better sense of a timeline. But not the worst case scenario for either, but certainly not the best. Do you think if we score 20 points a game, we'll be undefeated? No. No, I don't. There's going to look. I think this. I think there's a. There's a reality that somewhere along the way, be it the pick six, defensive score, short field, good game plan, matchup issue, someone's going to score against you. So you're going to need to. Your offense is going to need to get in gear. No. Tech won the toss and deferred. So that's why LSU received the opening kickoff again. It's back-to-back weeks. Clemson won the toss and deferred as well. High ankle sprain will nag him all year. It's a 2 to 3 month heal. What I've always had orthopedists tell me is you need 6 weeks of just no activity to get it back to 100%. So while I agree with you, it is unlikely Braylon Moore plays at 100% the rest of the season. The thing that is beneficial is offensive linemen don't plant and cut and change directions. So a high ankle sprain for a running back, a receiver, it's more detrimental because of them, because they are running full speed, stopping, planning, changing directions. With an offensive lineman, you're living largely in a phone booth, right? You tape that thing up high and tight, and you get an injection and you go, you deal with it, and you get treatment throughout the week, and you just get ready to go play again on a Saturday. But hopefully a couple of weeks off of treatment will get him to a point where he's able to manage it the rest of the year. Yeah, this is right. I mean, that's fair. They did it on the previous drive where they ran Durham 3 times and got in. That drive at the end of the game where they kicked the 19-yard field goal, they went oh wait, hang on. That was the drive where Harlem had the long, where Harlem Berry had the 43-yarder that got him down 1st and goal at the 6. So in that drive,
They'll say it.
Sorry, y'all. So on that drive, they went, here you go. 1st and goal from the 3. That was the Caleb Jackson run. Caleb kind of started to the line and then just kind of leapt forward into the line. And then Harlem Berry carried left for no gain. Tech called a timeout. Then Harlem Berry ran again for no gain. Like, I'm with you. You had a similar situation in the 3rd quarter where you had 1st and goal from the 8 and you ran Caden Durham 3 times and he scored. If you had given Caden Durham 3 carries, what?
Humpty Dumpty.
Okay. Little baby bum, Humpty Dumpty. You carry it. Good job. So, like, if you give Caden Durham those 3 carries, do you score? Got a better chance of scoring, right? But you were giving Caleb Jackson, Harlem Berry an opportunity. I get it. If you're in that same situation next week against Florida and you have 1st and goal from the sorry. 1st and goal from the 3. Aren't you going Caden Durham 3 times? You know what I mean? So this is a good question as well, John. So the kid from Florida that got ejected at the end of the game for spitting. Bro, what are people doing spitting that? Like, when did this become a thing? Will he have to sit? So he got ejected in the 4th quarter. In theory, wouldn't he? Now, what I don't know, like, unsportsmanlike conduct versus fighting, like that, we learned that was the difference with the AJ Halsey thing. So I don't know, but we'll find out. I mean, Thomas, I don't know if you're just trolling here. You might just be trolling. You might just be a troll. You might be. Maybe you're trolling us with your picture. You might be trolling us with your photo. Maybe you are. I don't know. But if you're good enough to go on the road at Clemson and play flawless, like mistake-free football, and lead an offense that possesses the ball for 37 minutes I think you're good enough. I think you're good enough to beat anybody on your schedule and win a championship. I do. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. Saints are playing in 50 minutes from right now. I'm excited about that. Good to see the debut of the Ellen Moore era. And we'll have Otterlocks. We'll have Jimmy's picks for football Sunday. Jimmy and his band of merry handicappers cannot wait for this to come back. So we'll get to all that. Remember, all of our sponsors linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Shout out to Brock Parrish. We'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Parrishbuilt.com. Parrishbuilt.com. Unique Physique. Uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions. Restoredmotions.com. And remember, Bocock Premium Cigars. BocockBrothers.com. God bless you. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. All right, y'all. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome day. And who dat? Go Tigers. And thank y'all for